Welcome back.
Yeah, man, how you doing? You know you like that.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Math Talk with Mr. Faison, and y'all know I'm Mr. Faison or Mr. Faison. As long as you know, today we're gonna be working on multi-step equations, part 1. Meaning there's gonna be a part 2. So make sure you watch part 2. But first, part 1. Let's look at problem number 1. First, we're looking at 3x minus 20 equals 130. Our goal is to get the x by itself. But first, before we do that, what I want to do is I want to ask y'all, do y'all see any like terms inside this problem? The like terms you would see inside this problem is your negative 20 and the 130, right? So what I want to do is I want to get them on the same side. But the thing is, they don't want to be on the same side as this 3x. That's the x. You want to get away from the x, right? You want to get the x by itself. So we're trying to move this negative 20 over here with this 130. But the equal sign represents a brick wall. So we can't just move it over. We have to move it over mathematically. So what we're going to do is you have to do the inverse of negative 20. Or in other words, what we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite of negative 20. The opposite of negative 20 is positive 20. So we're going to add 20 on both sides. Boom. Add 20 on both sides. This cancels because negative 20 plus 20 is 0. So that cancels, right? 130 plus 20 gives me 150. And then I will bring the 3x down. All right, now we have 3x equals 150. Once again, we want to get the x by itself. For us to get the x by itself, what we have to do next? I see this 3x, they're really close together, right? So if I looked at it from a relationship standpoint, what we're looking at is they'll be married since they're that close together. How do people split marriages? It's a divorce. So another word for divorce in the math terms is divide. So what I would do is I would divide. Divide 3, divide 3. All right? This cancels. X is equal to 50. That would be my answer. Now, wherever I see an x at in the original problem, if I go back and put 50 there, it will come out to equaling 130, right? Now let's move on to problem number 2. If I'm looking at problem number 2, what I see is 5y plus 3 in parentheses, y plus 2 equals 54. The first thing I want to do here is I want to attack the parentheses. All right, so I see inside the parentheses y plus 2. It's nothing I could do with that because they're not like terms. So with that being said, I have to distribute, meaning I have to take this 3 and multiply by everything inside that parentheses. 3 times y. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 2. That's going to give me 6. Then you bring this down. Equals 54. And I'm also bring this 5y down. Now, what I'm looking at is I have 5y plus 3y plus 6 equals 54. Now I have this 5y and this 3y, they're on the same side of the equal sign. So I can just put them two together. 5y plus 3y equals 8y plus 6 equals 54. Now we're trying to solve for y here. So with that being said, this 6 is trying to get away from this 8y and get over here with the 54 because we want to get that y by itself. So we're working to get the y by itself. So here it's saying plus 6. For me to move it over here with the 54, I have to do the opposite. Minus 6. Minus 6. I can cancel that out. Now we have 8y equals 48. Now once again, I see the 8 and the y is that close. They're saying 8 times y, right? 8 multiplied by y. So for us to split the 8 and the y, we have to divide. And y will be equal to 6. Cool, so now let's move on to problem number 3. If I'm looking at problem number 3, right, it looks crazy, but it's not that crazy once we start working on it, right? So every problem that we've done so far is just a baby step to help us be able to solve a problem like this, right? So let's look at this. Problem number 3, it says 50 equals 3 parentheses x plus 16 minus 2 parentheses x minus 2. So the first thing I want to look at here is the parentheses, x plus 16. We can't combine those. So the first thing I have to do is I have to take this 3 and distribute it into the parentheses, meaning I have to multiply this 3 by everything inside the parentheses. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 16, 48. So next I look at x minus 2. There's nothing I could do with that. So I have to take the negative 2 and multiply it by everything inside of here, meaning I have to distribute the negative 2, right? So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. And now I just bring the 50 down. So what I'm going to do now, what I'm looking at is 50 equals 3x plus 48 minus 2x plus 4. That's what I'm looking at. What I want to do now is look on this side of the equal sign and combine like terms. So if I'm looking, I have a 3x and a negative 2x. That's going to give me just x or 1x, whichever one you prefer. So I can mark that out, I don't need that anymore. Now I also have a 48 and a 4. Those are like terms. It's 52. And now I bring the 50 down again. Once again, I want to get the x by itself. So I don't want to bring the 50 over here. I want to take the 52 and bring it away from the x. So it's saying plus 52. Remember, I have to do the opposite to move it over. 52 minus 52. Now I'm going to have negative 2 is equal to x. And I will stop right there because x is all by itself, right? That's what we want. We want x by itself. I don't want a negative sign in front of that x. I just want x to be plain and by itself. And negative 2 is equal to x is my answer. Hey, look, that's part 1 of multi-step equations. So make sure you tap into part 2 of multi-step equations. And if you was lost with this one, go back to one-step equations and get caught up. Hey, man, that's Math Talk with Mr. Faison. I'm going to see you next time. Yeah.
God's plan.